Hey, Didakshar here with another great math video for you. This time we're talking about graphing an ellipse. And this time though we are moving the ellipse from the origin, from the center, to a shift to the left or right, some horizontal shift as well as a vertical shift. So we notice that the general form, where it once was x squared and y squared, now we've got a bit of a change. So we are now centered at negative h, negative k. Now I know you're going to see this a lot differently other places. I like, and some other math people will say it's centered at hk. Well, I like to say that it's at negative h and negative k. And all that is a reminder that you're going to take the opposite sign of what's inside the set of parentheses. So I'll do the opposite, like if it's x plus 3, then it'll be at negative 3, right? So we just take the opposite sign. And that's just a reminder to myself that we're taking that opposite sign. So again, same general format though. X minus h squared. H is always associated with x. K, y minus k squared. K is always associated with the y category of change. Again, the same rules apply though for a and b. A squared will always be the bigger number, so whatever the value is of the bigger number for a, then what we'll see is that's going to be elongated in the x direction if the bigger number is under the x category. If a squared is the bigger number and it's under the y category, then we'll elongate in the y category. So a squared will always be bigger than b squared. So we want to call a and b in their appropriate sense so we know how to elongate it, okay? And again, we find the foci or foci by taking c squared is equal to the larger number a squared minus b squared, or c is equal to plus or minus the square root of a squared and b squared. Again, I know these two graphs here are drawn at the center, but you get the idea that the a value is the a squared, right? A squared, the square root of a squared is a, so we're going to come out a distance from wherever the center is, and we'll go b distance in the y category from the center, wherever that center is. Again, we're going to shift it, we're going to move it around. The focal points, if the a squared, the larger number, is under the x category, then of course your focal points will be on the x-axis. If the a squared is greater under the y category, then the focal points will be in the y category, the y-axis. All right, so something to remember there. All right, let's take a look at an example here of what we're dealing with. So we're given example number 1, x minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 1 quantity squared. So the x minus 2 quantity squared is over 36. And I guess I could make that line a little bit longer here so we know that's being divided there. All right. So when we get y plus 1 squared over 9, okay. So now, again, we take a squared, and that's 36. So what is the distance from the center that I'm actually going? How many units? I am going a is equal to plus or minus 6. So I'm going to go out 6 units, out 6 units. B squared is 9, so the value of b is plus or minus 3. Again, we take the square root of those values, and we'll go out those appropriate places. Now, this time, the center is not at the origin. We've moved the center. So where is the center? Well, we go here to the x, in the x direction. We're going to say, well, what's the opposite sign of negative 2? Well, the opposite sign is positive 2. Y plus 1. What's the opposite sign of plus 1? Well, it's negative 1. So my center will then be at positive 2, negative 1. So again, from the center, 0, 0, I'm going to go over 2 units, 1, 2, it's positive 2, and down 1. That will be my new center right here. Now what I like to do from here is maybe you use colored pencils or something to help you so you can navigate through this. This is where a lot of mistakes are made at this point, is they go back to the origin and they start drawing the difference of the 6 and the 3. We need to make sure that we stay on the axis. So what I do is I tend to draw a little dashed line here, a dashed line this way, and that keeps me on the correct path for my x values. And then in the y category, I draw a little dashed line here up and down, and that keeps me on the right path in terms of the distance from the center to the y category, or the b distance, if you will, in this case, because it's the shorter distance. So b was 3, so I'm going to go up 3 units. 1, 2, 3. So I'll end up at positive 2, right? And I go 3 down. 1, 2, 3. So we end up at negative 4. Negative 1, and minus 3 more is negative 4. Now in the x direction, we need to go 6 units. So I'm already at positive 2. So I'm going to go 6 units this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and if we look at negative 6, if we're at positive 2, positive 2 minus 6, I should end up at negative 4, and that's correct, that's where I ended up. And if I'm at 2 and I go positive 6 more units, I should end up at 8. All right? So you can check your math there. And then, again, the c value, or the focal point, is at square root of 27. 36 minus 9, square root of 36 minus 9 is the square root of 27. And again, recall, if I'm not sure exactly where square root of 27 is, I go, well, the square root of 36, which is the next perfect square, is a little bit more, but it's plus or minus 6. And the square root of 25 is a little bit less than square root of 27, so that's at 5. So in that case, what I'll do is it's going to be somewhere between the 5th and 6th unit away. So from my center, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this is going to be out here. So I'll put that as my focal point 1. And then again, I'll go in between the 5th and 6th unit here in this direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be right about here. So my focal point 2 is there. And again, focal point 1 and 2, I could have labeled this one focal point 1 and this one focal point 2. Some people are pretty particular about that. I don't necessarily have a proof or anything that says that this one should be focal point 1 and 2. It's just the way it happens to roll. All right? Let's look at another example and see if we can make sense of this one. So here we go. We have x plus 3 squared over 16, and we've got y minus 1 squared over 49. So you might be familiar now that the b value is going to be from the 16, and the a value will come from the 49. So a squared is 49. That means a is plus or minus 7. And b squared is 16, so the value of b is plus or minus 4. So where's my center again? The center is going to be the opposite sign of 3, right? Negative hk. So it's what I call it, right? So the opposite sign of positive 3 would be negative 3. The opposite sign of negative 1 would be positive 1. So my new center is at negative 3, comma 1. So I'm going to go from the center out 3, negative 1, 2, 3, negative 3, and I'm going to go up 1. So my new center is right here at negative 3, 1. Now, in the b direction, I'm going to go out 4, right? And then the a direction, I'm going to be set plus or minus 7. Now, again, what I like to do is in my x category, or the minor axis, if you will, the minor axis is here, and then the major axis, okay, is here. So what we want to do is we're going to put a new set of little markers here so we know where the center of our ellipse is. And we will take 7 units up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 plus 7, we should be at 8. And 1 minus 7, we should go down here to negative 6. And in the x direction, I'm at negative 3. And I got to go to 4, so I should go all the way out to negative 7 here in the x direction. And negative 3 plus 4, I should end up at positive 1. For our c value, or our focal point value, we're at the square root of 49 minus 16. which is the square root of 33. And again, you ask yourself, well, where is the square root of 33? I know you can put it on a calculator, but I always like to try and do things without a calculator and say, all right, well, let's just intuitively think what's happening here. The next perfect square up would be 6, which would be the square root of 36. The next perfect square down would be 25. 33 is going to be a little closer to 36 than it is to 25. So in that case, what we'll do is we will see that it's going to be between 5 and 6 units. So now you got to ask yourself, where do I put the focal points? Is it going to be in the y category or is it in the x category? What do you think? Well, if you answered in the y category, you would be correct because it's where the longer the a value is. So again, since we're in the a squared is the larger number, we're elongating in the y direction. That means my focal points need to be in the y direction. So I'm going to go up, between the 5th and 6th value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be in between here and here. So this will be my focal point 1. And I go between 5 and 6 down. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be down here between these two. And focal point 2. All right, so that's just a little bit on how to graph an ellipse not centered at the origin, but centered at negative HK. Hope that's been helpful. It's been a great time being with you today. I hope that you're enjoying graphing the ellipse as much as I do. It's a good time. All right, thanks again. Keep it mathy, everybody. Peace. D Dykstra, out.